you learn so much about the business, and then you
A lot.
actually start to see a business appearing when you're getting customers, right? You learn it's like, okay, I had really good sales and all my customers are leaving. Then you can go back and look and ask yourself the question, why are they leaving?
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and the wisdom of how they sold their first million.
How would you like to achieve your first million? And today we have Hal Smith, the founder of H Street Digital. So tell us, what are the 5 steps to make your first million?
It's a great question, Harry. I think the first thing is be as specific as possible around the product or service you want to build a business around. I think one common issue I've seen, and I've dealt with this myself personally, and then we work with a lot of early stage companies, or we did at one time. And the biggest thing is they're too distracted. They're trying to do too many things for too many different people. I think it's really good if you get really, really specific around that product or service and the specific customer base you want to go after with that. I think that's really the first step. The second one is go talk to 100 people that work in that space, either around the product or service or on the customer side. But unless you get a good enough sample size, a good data set from having those conversations with those people, you don't truly know if your idea is actually going to be that helpful. You don't actually know if you're going to solve a specific problem for your target customer. And also, too, you don't really know what who the competitors are, or what specifically you really should be doing in that space in terms of marketing. So I think it's really good to just talk to at least 100 people before you start. And then I think once you get started, focus all your time on sales. I think
Yeah.
to get to $1 million, you want to just focus on sales. Don't worry about the branding of your website. Don't worry about making, good looking business cards. Don't worry too much. This sounds bad, but the accounting side of things, or like who you're hiring, just focus on getting business. I think you learn the most from just talking and interfacing with customers, from making mistakes with those customers, from losing customers. You learn so much about how you need to build your business, but it only starts if you're actually getting customers. So spend all your time on sales at the beginning, especially to get to 1 million. I think then once you have a couple of customers, you're developing that business a little bit, be very, very intentional on who your first full-time hire is. It's incredibly important that the people you're bringing in first are going to be multipliers for your business and are actually going to drive impact, are going to be able to do stuff really well without your involvement. So you have to be very intentional of who that first person is. And then the final thing is build out processes and systems of the business as early as possible, and then constantly refine them. Because once you hit about $1 million in revenue, you want to basically build out this kind of machine that is the business that starts to run a little bit without your involvement.
I agree 100% in this that you share with us, like focus in sales. Yeah, I remember when I started my first business. When you started the business, you're wearing a lot of hats and you don't have time
Yeah.
for anything. Yeah, and I was doing exactly as you said. I was focusing in sales, sales, sales. And then the people were saying, Harry, but can you have a look at the accounts? Have a look at the accounts. And I was thinking, well, uh, you know, I'm selling and there is money left in the bank account. So clearly, I cannot tell you in detail because I don't have time because I'm so busy selling. But I can tell you that, there is something left because. So yeah, I agree 100% agree with you that, when you put all your intention at the beginning in sales, yeah, because it's going to take time to master all the rest of the skills like
Yeah.
account, building the brand on the website, on the whatever. This takes time and takes knowledge and expertise. I'm not saying don't pay attention, but try to focus your at least 80% of your time in sales. I did this and I handle it. If I look at the accounts, could be improved better? Yes. If I look at the brand could be improved better? Yes. But I was so focused in sales, 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 because I knew that if as soon as I can sell the product, the company would be alive because it was money left in the bank account.
Yeah.
So if I'm thinking I'm making money. I don't know how much. I cannot tell you how much because I'm busy selling. But if every month all the expenses go and still I can see money there, clearly I'm making money.
It's working. Yeah. Well, I think what I've learned, like talking to friends who want to start businesses, and then also too for a lot of clients that we had in the past that were, maybe they're doing a couple $100,000 in revenue and they really wanted to grow. They were so distracted by so many things. And to your point,
Absolutely.
you have to wear so many different hats. And it's like, what is the most important hat to wear? What should I wear most of the time? And it really is sales because you learn so much about the business, and then you
I
actually
love.
start to see a business appearing when you're getting customers, right? You learn it's like, okay, I had really good sales and all my customers are leaving. Then you can go back and look and ask yourself the question, why are they leaving? And then you can start fixing processes around that. You can do better stuff around customer engagement, whatever that might be. But if you don't have customers in the first place, you don't know that it's a problem you might have, right?
What's the point to
Um,
be to put some energy in the branding in this and that? First you need to sell it whatever it takes. Yeah.
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 And I think too, it's especially on the product side, I've seen this, it's called like the lean, lean growth or, was it, it's like learn, test, optimize, process, but it's, you want to get your product out in the hands of your customers. You want to see how they interact with it. You want to see if they like it or not. And then you want to take that feedback and improve things. But if you sit there and you try to dream up the most perfect product that you think customers will like and you go launch it into the market and it falls flat, then you have to start from zero again. But if you're out there, you're constantly putting that product in your customers' hands, you're actually getting the data back on how you need to improve to make it a more appealing product. And I think to your, you mentioned this before, but it's product market fit. Like you learn product market fit by actually just getting it out there, getting it into customers'
Absolutely.
hands and really understanding it and kind of pivoting from there. I think the companies I've worked with that ultimately like really struggle with product market fit is they try to do it everything by themselves, hidden away from the market, and then they try to bring it out into the market and then it falls flat. So I think it's just so important to be out there selling, be out there getting your product in your customers' hands, get your service out there and really start to get that feedback so you can make good adjustments.
Okay, so tell us how you decide to become an entrepreneur. What happened?
Yeah. Okay. So I guess I'll tell you a little bit of a story about what I've done. So after college, my first job was in political advertising. So I used to run
Wow.
ad campaigns for political candidates.
Oh, you learn a
I
lot
did.
about the ties in there, yeah?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's the best kind of like case study around advertising. You
Tell me
learn
about it.
everything. Oh yeah. And it's all different ad channels. It's, I worked on a presidential campaign, so it was very big budgets. It was, national.
Wow.
Um, and so it was great experience. I leveraged that to go do a lot of political consulting. And so I do consulting for other, political campaigns. And I did that, and then I realized I didn't really like politics that much because it's an ugly business for multiple reasons. And so I actually had an opportunity to go work for an old boss and help him start up a digital advertising agency. So I did that for a couple of years. And then I also did a little bit more of political consulting on the side. After a point of going through this experience, so the interesting thing about political is with campaigns specifically, you basically start an advertising agency and run it for like 7 months, right? Because you have to start everything new from scratch every time you do a campaign. So I had a lot of experience starting teams from nothing and building out the processes and building out like essentially a company in like 7 months. And then when I helped start up this agency, I realized I had the kind of experience and knowledge to go start my own agency. I also had a conversation with the founder of the agency I was working at about equity. And basically, I was told I was not entitled to equity, even though I had built a large part of the business. And so I was like, why am I making so much money for other people when I could just do this for myself, right? So I decided to start my own agency,
Oh, that
and
was
I
very
did that.
brave to start your own agency, yeah?
Oh yeah, it was. I think one thing
It
for
was out of
people who are
anger.
looking.
That's interesting. I didn't hear this before, I think that so not
Well,
out of anger, out of because sometimes entrepreneurs we have all the entrepreneurs, even you have this gene within you that one day you're gonna make it. One day, and sometimes you need this little push. That for me was the book of Rich Dad Poor Dad Roy
Oh
Kiyosaki.
yeah.
So that that give. Sometimes we have within ourselves, because otherwise we won't be entrepreneurs. But sometimes we need this little push. And I hear a lot of stories. Some people we projecting to interview over 5,000 entrepreneurs here, and already we hear a lot of stories that people read a book, that a friend, and now it was an entrepreneur thing. But your little push is like, hey, okay, you know what? If you think I'm not entitled to equity, I'm gonna do it myself then. That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd say it's definitely ambition too. It's just wanting to go have my own company at some point too. But that was the trigger moment that made me decide that, all right, this is time, right? And so that's what kind of kicked it off. And I did it actually. This is kind of funny. I started the agency. I ran it for about a year. It was very profitable. It was very,
Really?
I was like, this is the reason why people do this, because I was making pretty good money. And then all my clients.
On the first year,
Yeah.
you built it really quickly and was making money really quickly.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So this is
That's
what's
unusual.
funny though. Well, yeah. So it's okay. I reverted to the mean basically over time. So the first year was very good, but all my clients were actually political clients, and so they were tied to the election cycle. And so once the election day happened, all the clients were gone.
Oh wow!
And
because the election finished.
yeah. Except one of my clients was an agency that worked in the political space. And so that agency actually gave me an offer to come in-house with them and build out an advertising program and kind of let go of the agency, or like my agency. So I took that offer and I went in-house with the other agency, and I worked with them for about a year. And then I realized I don't like working for people. And so
you have to do what you have to do to survive your business. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. And then I decided, all right, this is enough. I should just go back and start my own agency again. So I restarted it. And then I had a very normal experience starting the agency. So first year was very rough. It was really, really tough. And I think for anybody that's interested in starting a company, it's hard. Like it's really gonna be tough. It's gonna suck.
Even for you to have experience, yeah.
Yeah, even though I had all this experience, I knew all the right things. It was really tough, and part of that was sales. I wasn't actually that good at sales, so I really had to learn that. So the first year was very tough. I actually didn't pay myself the entire first year. I just relied on savings, and I used all the money of the business to pay for contractors, pay for other business services, to kind of get that off the ground. So it was a really, really tough first year. And then the second year got significantly better. And in that year, I think a big change is I actually joined this group called Entrepreneurial Organization. They have an accelerator where companies that are basically doing more than 250,000 revenue are allowed to join. And in that, they have a good incubator program to basically teach you how to grow a business and how to scale. And it's using a lot of the tools from this book called Scaling Up by Vern Harnish. And so I took a lot of those, lessons from that incubator kind of accelerator environment, and I applied them to the business. It worked really well. And I was able to next year do significantly better. Following year after that, keep growing. And then this year, I went from really in a bad spot to doubling revenue, doubling again. This year we'll grow by 60%, but it's doing quite well now. Now we have 12 clients and we have 24 people. So
follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.